want to just share who Charisa is, and then I'll let you fill in any gaps that I'm missing. So Charisa Munroe, she's an influential motivational speaker in individuals and organizations across the world. She is an author of a 31-day devotional, Empowerment for Everyday Living, so important. She serves as the president of the Miles and Ruth Munroe Foundation and the vice president of Munroe Global, Inc. And she is the president and CEO of Charisa Munroe, LLC, a personal brand that serves to empower lives and help others define, develop, and deploy their purpose for greatness, which is such a great segue into today, what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking all about purpose and living in purpose. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, Charisa. How you doing? How's life in Chicago? Are you in Chicago?
I am in Chicago. I'm doing very well. Thank you for that wonderful intro. Sometimes I hear that intro and I wonder, like, who are they talking to? Who are they talking about? Me? It doesn't sound like me. But yes, everything is going very, very well. A lot of vision casting, a lot of purpose growing, like just a lot of movement and a lot of action, but also transformation this year. Because I remember when I was stuck about a year and a half ago, I just was stuck in moving forward and what was next. I had been doing so much already. And then I was like, man, I feel like, okay, I should be doing something more. Like there is more, I should be doing more. And then like another layer of my purpose just kind of unfolded. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. And so part of that movement is putting a lot of what I have on paper into action, even though I'm scared. So
oh, that's a biggie. We're gonna have to get into that for sure, man. But I want to talk a little bit. So we heard about all the wonderful things you're up to now. I want to hear a little bit about the journey, the story that got you to where you are today. So how'd you become this successful woman in power?
I guess I've always been this powerful woman, but there were different seasons and stages of my life. And so the biggest pivotal happening and experience that I had that brought me here is when I lost my parents 7 years ago, both of them in a plane crash that changed my entire life. It changed it for what initially felt like the bad, and now it changed it for, now I'm realizing that no, like I can make the good and positive out of that. But losing them was horrific. It was horrible. Being thrown from what was the bottom, like I was underneath. My brother and I did everything from behind the scenes, anything to hold my parents up for them to be able to do what they were going to do, living out their purpose, nothing to worry about because he and I had it covered. So I had no problem being behind the scenes, being the orchestra at the bottom that you hear and you see all the goodness, but you don't really get to see them. I was fine there. And then that happened, and I got plunged into the spotlight, plunged into the limelight. Didn't realize that I had so much in me that people needed and wanted to hear. And so as people started pulling and started asking, then they started pulling out of me what I didn't think I had, and boom, there it is. And so 7 years later, we're here, and I would have never imagined that I would be here today doing what I do with the intensity that I'm doing it in, but also at the masses. Like I didn't think I would be doing that. Now, I say that now, but I'm remembering that my dad taught us so much. He had us experience so much. And it was like, I didn't think I was prepared until I started doing it. I'm like, man, Charisa, you were prepared for this work. Like this purpose was predestined and set before you. And you had been prepared, you had been trained, you had been mentored. And now it's just your time to live in your purpose, as we titled this live. But I was scared. I was scared of the unknown. I was scared of incompetence. I was scared of not being certain, not being confident enough. Like as leaders, because we all are leaders here, like that's one of the things that we go through. That's one of the issues that we go through. And then I get to a place where I was like stuck. I had spoken and taught on so many stages over the last 7 years, and I got to a place where I'm like, okay, so there has to be more than just speaking on stages. There has to be more than me serving myself by just giving keynotes. And so I wondered, well, what else can I do, and how can I take my message? How can I use my voice? How can I use the gifts that I have to continue to influence and empower and impact the world, got a coach. And then she's like, first of all, we need to deal with you. Let's deal with you first. Let's get deep down into the grief and the losses that you're dealing with. And then let's multiply and repurpose what it is that you're doing. And so here I am now, establishing a few programs that I'm working on, doing a lot more visible stuff that are requiring keynote speaking. I'm about to start coaching very soon. So there's a lot going on. Didn't mean that I didn't know what my purpose was before my parents passed. It just meant that there was a level of my purpose that I had reached that was at its height. And now it took me wanting to get to the next level of my purpose. And people believe that when we say discover your purpose, uncover your purpose, you should find that whole purpose at once. No, like our purpose literally has what I'm going to call seasons. Not that it comes and goes, but depending on where you are in life, maturity, intellectual, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, you're only going to uncover a certain part of your purpose. As you grow, Terry, as you grow, Bethsaida, who just signed on, like as you grow and you start to up level yourself, then you realize that there's so much more that, so then you start to uncover a little bit more. And you start to, so it's like an onion, you start to uncover these layers of your purpose, and you realize they just build on one another. You could imagine if God had told me I'll be doing this 20 years ago, 10 years ago, I would tell him, no, sir. Oh, no, sir, you're talking to the wrong person. But there's only so much that my capacity can hold at one time. And then when you have almost reached to that point of succeeding at that particular level of your purpose, and then you get to the next. So when people say to me at 60, how do I discover or uncover my purpose at 60? I promise you that you uncovered and discovered and had been living in your purpose years before that. You just didn't know because it came so natural. If you had to give a story on how you got to doing what you're doing and how did you discover your purpose, that's the question that we normally get asked. Like, how do I discover? How did you get to the point where you are?
Me, are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for me, I have this fire lit under me, like to empower, just like you do. And I want to share the message, the good news of God. I mean, that's really one of my bigger things, is to let everybody know, like there's someone out there that cares about you so much, and that you're guided and you're led. That's one of my biggest just missions and messages, is letting people know that they're not alone. I also was bullied when I was younger, and I had a plan to end my life. And so from there, I want to help people that also have felt that low before, and they feel like their life doesn't matter, they're alone, they don't have a purpose. And so that's like really my purpose, to show everybody why they matter so much. And then I think we have these unique gifts that we've been given, that with those gifts, our God-given gifts, we can use that to make the world a better place, to show people the light, to bring them closer to God. So that's kind of what my purpose and my mission is that I'm living. Yeah.
And I think when I think about purpose, so people always ask, like, what is it, right? So we know that purpose is intent, like the reason why something is created, was established, is developed. And so the reason why each of us are here is because there's a purpose that we are to accomplish. And you said something, we all have these gifts and talents that are innate. They're natural to us. And I think one of the things is because it's so natural and because it's so innate, many of us are doing what we are doing and what we were born to do with so little effort that sometimes we don't give it the credit that it deserves. And then we're asking, what's my purpose? Well, what have you been doing for the last 10 years, but you haven't thought about because it just comes natural to you? And you'll be surprised how much of your purpose is wrapped in what you do without effort, what you do without even thinking about it, what you do with so much passion. And you don't think about, man, this is what I'm supposed to do because this is what brings me so much joy. So what is bringing you joy? What brings you great joy when you do it? You don't have to think about it. What allows you to be free and feel free? Like when I think about, there are so many people who wake up on Monday morning dreading the week. They can't, it's Monday, Terry, and they can't wait until Friday. They can't wait until Friday comes so that they can just kind of do nothing. They don't want to think. They just want to just have fun. They want to play around because what they're doing from Monday to Friday is bringing them no joy. Therefore, they're not doing it with excellence. They're not enjoying it. They don't have any freedom. So their freedom is only Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. And then they feel like they're going back into bondage Monday, Tuesday. That is not a way to live. Yeah. But when you can wake up Monday morning and you're like, oh, I couldn't wait till Monday comes. There's so much I have to do. There's so much I want to do. The world sleeps on the weekend, but now the world is back open on during the week. How can I now start to continue in my purpose? Like that's when you know someone is moving and living in their purpose. They're happy. They're looking forward to it. Also, purpose is one of those things when you know you're living in your purpose, you are not looking for compensation. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people confuse the two. Well, if this is my purpose, then I should be getting paid for it. And you are very correct because your fruit, people are gonna always want to come back for your fruit if it's sweet. And if it's sweet, they're gonna pay whatever price to get there. But you looking for it because your production of fruit should be so easy. You should just be producing your fruit and just know that people are gonna come, but you shouldn't be looking for compensation. Purpose is one of those things where you're living in it and it's the one thing that you're going to do whether you get paid or not. Mm-hmm. Standing on a stage, I'm going to do whether I get paid or not. Now there is a value and a worth to my gift and what I do, but I give it that value. Based on the result that people are going to get once they eat that fruit. So I'm more concerned, I'm more concerned with what I'm giving. I'm more concerned with the fruit that I'm giving them so that when they taste that fruit and when they come back for more, no matter what I tell them the cost of that fruit is, they're like, we don't care. We're going to pay whatever. We just want to get more of it.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. You know, everything you were saying, you're just so spot on. That was so perfect. I'm gonna make a little clip of just that. I think it was powerful. So I want to get back. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, if you have some more to say on it, please expand.
Girl, let me tell you something. Terry, I could talk about purpose all day long. And the reason why that is because first of all, I had a father who, he drove purpose to the end and back because he realized that a life without purpose is a life dead. Okay. It's so true. And when you think about I think about the graveyard being just filled with the gifts that you talked about and the talents and unfulfilled dreams and visions and purpose that people just let die. So when I say I want us to die empty, like I will forever talk about purpose, and everything begins and ends with purpose. Leadership begins and ends with purpose. Vision begins and ends with purpose. Us using our voice, us pushing through or pivoting in hard times, us not giving up, us wanting to be more visible so that we can use our voice. Like all of that starts with purpose. And so I think about like Star and I, my co-host Star and I are doing an event called Speak and Lead. And we're calling it Speak and Lead for that very reason. There are so many, everyone is a leader. Whether you believe you are, whether you decide to become one, there's a leader on the inside. So I'm talking to all those who believe they are leaders. And I'm talking to all of those who have a leader trapped on the inside of them that isn't come out yet. Because by the time we're done, you're going to be walking in your leadership. But everybody who is a leader has a purpose. And usually that purpose needs to be spoken. And that spoken can be out of your mouth. That can be through music. That can be through dance. That can be through writing. That can be through art. That can be through whatever gifts are yours. I'm not telling you that you have to be able to speak and vocalize it, though that's one of the best ways for people to hear who you are, your story, and your life experiences. But we want to be able to encourage and empower leaders. Every human is a leader. We want to be able to encourage and empower leaders to speak and use their voice for not only for themselves, but for others. People are waiting to hear your story, Terry. People are waiting to hear you know how many times I tell my story and I get the whole, man, I lost my father too. Or I lost my mother too. Or I've been in grieving for the last 10 years. And you think that, man, people think I think I'm alone. And they're like, no, like I'm right there with you. You lost your mom. And now here is birth to who you are today. And you'd be surprised how that leader and that purpose and that story can save someone else's life. And so at Speak and Lead, We talk about how you can get in front of a camera and what that looks like, and having the confidence to put your voice out there, how to own your voice, how to develop your voice so that you can empower others. We talk about pushing through resilience, pushing through with resilience, especially in a season where, for the last 2 years, it's just been crazy with the pandemic, with the political unrest. There's just been so much that has been attacking us as people, as humans, as the world. But we still get to pivot. We still get to push when we need to, and what that looks like. So I'm so excited for this event we have coming up that is available for everybody to attend.
I love it.
February 20. Huh?
I was just gonna say, tell us the dates. When
February 25th and 26th. It's gonna be live in Nassau, Bahamas.
Okay, in person.
Live in Nassau. And I'm stopping there because I want everyone to just hear where it's going to be live. There is only one place where God lives. That's the Bahamas. The Bahamas has the best sand, the best sea, and the best people, and the best sun in the world. The best place. But we know that during these times, everyone can travel from everywhere to the Bahamas. So it's going to be live in person in the Bahamas, but we are also making it available for those who want to join online or virtual.
Perfect.
Okay. So now you still have about 2 weeks to register. Now would be the best time to do it because our seats are actually running out, believe it or not. Like it's already like, and it's blowing our minds. We didn't think that it was going to be so big, and we're going to have to keep it small because of numbers of how many guests you can have and quarantine and so forth and so on. So if you want to join, yes, I'm going to have Terry put the link
definitely
in the caption so that you can get to it, but it's going to be homeofstars.com/speak-and-lead. homeofstars.com/speak-and-lead. And that'll give you all the information for all of those who want to attend, who want to get their mental hygiene right, who want to become more confident on camera, who want to learn some speaking techniques on how they can actually share their message and they can actually put their purpose into action. Like, we want you guys leaving there with action ready, practical steps to change your life while you are living your purpose.
Exactly. I love it. That's exactly what it's all about. That's what we're here for. Like, I love everything you're doing. I think check out Candid Conversations with Charisa. I was binging on them on YouTube earlier before we talked, and I loved it. I felt inspired, motivated. To dive a little bit into fear. We briefly talked about that in the beginning. So many people get blocked because of fear. They have an idea, they get the inspired, in action steps, intuition from God, saying what they need to do next, but then they don't do it. So how do we, just take action despite the fear? Because you are showing up fearlessly, or maybe having fear. Fearfully. See, yeah. How do we do this?
And it's funny how the Bible says we are fearfully and wonderfully made, but it also talks about we don't have the spirit of fear. And that is very much correct. But it also says you have a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. And I love that it talks about sound mind in the Bible, because when you now bring that down for earthly living, a lot of what we fear is what goes on here. Memories, experiences, the stuff that we make up in our mind about something. So either you experience something that you never want to experience before because it didn't feel good, it hurt, you gave it a judgment and you don't want to have it anymore. Maybe you are making up in your mind, like you don't want to make a phone call, or you don't want to go on stage because you're telling yourself, well, they don't want to hear me. I don't know how to speak. I'm not good enough. My story is going to be boring. So you make up all these things in your mind. People aren't going to listen. And so your fear is not so much they're not going to listen. Your fear is how you're going to feel if someone doesn't listen to you. And that's actually a fear of rejection. But that's a future rejection that you're putting out there that hasn't even happened yet. Why? Because you haven't done it yet. So imagine, though, if you stood on the stage and told your story and everybody in the room stood up and gave you a round of applause.
Imagine that.
What was I afraid of? I just thought, but that is what That is how fair works. So because we have the fear of those future thoughts, then we never move. We never take the step. So that's why I always say, like when I say I do it scared, I do it scared because I know it's just me being my own imposter, telling myself all the lies, all these lies. You're not good enough. They're not going to hear you. You're going to mess up. You know, you're not going to be as good as you think you are. Like that is all future stuff. Hasn't even happened yet. And it probably never will. But I need to say, no, I'm going to do this scared because I know that's not going to happen. And then sure enough, I show up and then I get the messages. Oh my God, you have no idea how much that inspired me. And I so love you and you were amazing. And now I know what to do and make my next step. And oh my goodness, I was on a ledge and now you, just listening to you saved my life. Like those are the things that you actually get when you move into action. But fear is going to tell you everything else. Why? Because usually you're doing something. And I was talking to a group of people today, and we were talking about when you're not nervous and when you're not afraid, it should make you wonder, how big am I playing? Because when you're playing big, the nervousness is there. I don't want anyone on this live to think that Terry and I are not nervous showing up. I don't know about you, but when I have to show up, I still sweat. I still have that, oh, am I ready? Am I prepared? I'm just anxious. But once I put action into it and I start to see everybody line up, I start to see the comments and I start to see, this look on Terry's face that's like, come on, give me more. Then you understand, man, this is why I do what I do. And this is why I do it scared. Because once I start putting action to it, then the fear goes away. Or the fear is diminished. Mm-hmm. And so no, we do it scared. And once you acknowledge that, I think there's an acknowledgement of, and one of the things I just heard is we look at fear as the enemy, but we should be using fear as a friend. Like fear should be the fuel, is the way that Coach Sean put it. Fear should be the fuel that we use to play big. Oh, wow. And I always know when I'm about to play big. I always know when I'm about to do something big when I'm scared. And think about it. You don't get scared when you're about to just jump from. No. I got goosebumps when you said that. That is so deep. Oh my gosh. When I'm about to play big, that's when I'm scared. When I'm about to play small, and usually when I'm playing small, it's something I've already done. It's an audience I've already spoken in front of. It's the number, maybe it's 5 people. But if I know that I have to speak to 5,000, then I get real scared. Why? Because I've never done that before. Or there's more people before me that I'm responsible for. So fear starts to set in. So when I see fear, I don't look at it as I need to pull back. I look at it as, okay, you're about to play big. So fear is going to always show up when you play big. Man, so lean in. Show up when you play big. So play big. Yeah. And if you're not scared, then are you playing small? Yeah. Ooh, this is so juicy. I love it. What a conversation. I actually am going to be talking about fear at the conference because a lot of leaders do not speak up because they're afraid. Yes. A lot of people don't go into action because they are afraid. And so I was once there, and I'm there every so often I'm there. So there's someone coaching me to help me to work through those fears. And I want to be able to do the same for other people, for other leaders who are afraid of something for whatever reason. And they don't want to use their voice. They don't want to get in front of the camera. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be heard because they have a fear of a judgment that they're making. It's not a judgment that someone said. It's a judgment that you're telling in your head. So sometimes we have to get out of our own head, get out of our own way and say, you know what? This fear and these voices are coming because I'm about to play big. I'm going to just play big. I'm going to do it. And you watch, the fear will just start to disintegrate and go down. And I mean, the way that your chest is going to stay up and say, man, I just did that. I just did that. So I'm going to be talking more about this. I talk more about this at the conference. So if you want to more, if you want to deep dive into really and truly how you can tackle fear, how you can increase your mental hygiene and about purpose and uncovering that, man, this conference you do want to be at. Oh my God. Okay, tell us again. So the tickets and the dates. Dates are February 25th and 26th, February, the end of the month, Friday, Saturday, live in the Bahamas, and virtual as well. There is an investment for both. I don't have those exact numbers right now, but if you register or if you check online at homeofstars.com/speak-and-lead, it'll give you what those invest. I think it's like $497 for VIP live. Okay. It's $397 for just regular live. I'm sorry, yes, regular in person. Okay. No VIP.
2 days.
2 full days.
Wow. That's a lot of value.
Okay. A lot of value. So, homeofstars.com/speak-and-lead will take you right to the page. It'll tell you who it's for. You'll be able to get a little more information on what each of those levels offer. So we are offering, Star and I getting together, and we are offering a whole heck of a lot.
Wow. Congratulations. I mean, you are an action taker. I mean, I see you at the retreat and here you are just making it happen. I'm inspired for sure.
Let me correct myself. It's $199 for online.
Okay. Oh, definitely.
$199 for online virtual, $497 for VIP in person, and then it's $397 for in-person general. The whole purpose of it is for anyone that wants maximum impact, increase, and income and influence in their business, professional, and personal life. So thank you, Terry. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.